This is the story of Alice, 72 years old, living in the United Kingdom, and facing her old age with no pension, no savings, and no child to rely on. For many, this would be the beginning of despair. For Alice, it became the beginning of something else. Alice's life never followed the straight path she once dreamed of. She worked in factories in the Midlands in her 20s, long shifts that left her feet swollen but her spirit determined. When those jobs disappeared, she turned to caring for the elderly in a local nursing home. The wages were small, but her heart was in the work. She married young, divorced in her 50s, and watched the little money she had saved vanish in legal costs and bills. "Don't worry," people told her. "The pension will take care of you." But by the time it came, Alice realized it was barely enough to keep her warm through the winter. Her daughter had moved away, raising a family of her own, struggling with her own battles. Alice did not want to be a burden, and so she stood alone. At first, she felt crushed. Nights spent staring at the ceiling, wondering how long she could last, counting coins, worrying about the boiler, the rent, the groceries. But Alice did something extraordinary. She did not break. She adapted. She began with what she had, old skills, old passions. She picked up her needle and thread and started repairing clothes for neighbors. A patch here, a button there. Soon, word spread. Alice can fix it. The work didn't make her rich, but it kept her steady. On Saturdays, she baked scones and bread, the kind her mother once made, and sold them at the market. She laughed when people came back, not just for the bread, but for the warmth she offered behind the stall. And then, something changed. Alice was no longer seen as a woman abandoned by life. She was seen as a woman who refused to surrender. A neighbor asked her to tutor their child in English. Another came for advice. Slowly, respect replaced pity. Alice's life is simple now. A one-bedroom flat, a small garden with herbs and vegetables. Endless cups of tea, shared with neighbors who check in on her. But it is not a life of despair. It is a life of resilience. She says, "We are taught that old age is about waiting for pensions, waiting for others to care. But I've learned that old age is not about waiting, it is about creating. You create dignity by refusing to give up. You create meaning by using what you have, however small. You create freedom by standing on your own feet." So, what can we take from Alice's story? That security is never guaranteed, that systems can fail, that even family may not be there when you need them. But we also learn this. Inside every one of us, there is a resource stronger than money. It is resilience, it is adaptability, it is courage. Alice has no pension, no savings, and no child to rely on. But she has herself, and that has been enough. Alice's story is not about poverty. It is about possibility. It shows us that old age is not the end of a life's value. It can be the stage where quiet strength becomes visible to all. Perhaps that is the greatest lesson Alice leaves us with. When everything else is gone, you may discover that you yourself were always the greatest source of support.